This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome back. Pauly Howard, John Jastremski, Mitch back Tuesday. Follow the Money. USA wins 2-0. We advance and we win the group if Turkey loses or draw. They get a draw later tonight. Brazil and Morocco just getting underway here against Scotland. We'll update you there as well. And we have that the Matsuyama, McIntyre, Cam Smith, Hovland, DeChambeau, all going to miss the cut with the U.S. Open. And Rory can't get going as well. We'll update that in 10 minutes coming up, and the in-play numbers. Matt Vasgersian joins us now to talk some MLB, and he's all about the Miz. He's on the Progressive guest line. We love you, Matty. I know you talked about it last week. You loved his K-prop against the Phillies because they strike out so much. I am here for anything and everything Miz-related. 7-0 with a 0.17 in his last 8 starts. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, and he went from Monday being minus 140 at most places for National League Cy Young up to minus 175, and who knows, it might be even higher than that today, but as of yesterday, minus 175. We had this conversation a while ago, and I was all about Ohtani for National League Cy Young because I thought he was singularly focused on winning that award, and it was going to happen. Well, funny thing what 2 starts can do. He gives up 3 in Pittsburgh. He gets a bloody blister the other day and gives up 4. And now I feel like it's the Miz to lose. There's nobody that's touching him, and they can't write these K-props high enough. He's in Atlanta tonight. The last thing I saw was an 8.5. You can't write it any higher than that. I don't remember seeing anything. Maybe 9.5s in DeGrom's heyday. And I like DeGrom tonight, by the way. Yeah. But Miz is facing 2 guys. I looked at the Braves lineup tonight. Between Austin Riley and Mike Jastremski, they've got a 40% K rate the last week and a half. Now, it's interesting because there's a few guys in that lineup that don't strike out that are starting tonight, like Eli White and a couple other guys. But, I mean, you could just blindly play that over and be at least drawn live after 5 innings because he doesn't go more than 5 or 6 innings, except, of course, when he throws a Maddox and strikes out 15. How in God's name do you do that? But he did it.
Yes. How high can we go? We got 5-1 for 12 plus, 9-1, 13 plus, 16-1, 14 plus. This kid's capable of anything, hitting 104 on a gun.
Yeah, I mean, between 8 and 10 is the sweet spot for him, I think. You know, the 15 isn't coming around again. That was really ridiculous. And he had 6 3-pitch strikeouts against the Phillies in that game. The Phillies even said, and we had the Phillies last night, and we talked to Don Mattingly about that game. He said, we knew it was just going to be heaters. All of our guys can hit fastballs. They were all dialed up for fastballs, and they couldn't touch this guy. It was a video game. It was, and he's ridiculous. So 8.5 tonight in Atlanta, yeah, why not?
Absolutely. And what a time to be alive, JJ. Morocco scores a minute into the match against Scotland.
Let's go.
You got to love that
that's
as well.
That's the thing of beauty. Morocco with a goal. Matty V on the line. Yes. Life is good. Matty V, I'm with you on Miz. He's a stud. He's going to win the Cy Young. That said, to me, this game is a rare opportunity. When do you get the Atlanta Braves at home plus 150? Miz could go and pitch 7 innings of 2-run baseball, strike out 10. If you keep the game close, I know the Braves have been cold. I know they have not had a great week. The public is all over the Brewers in this spot. Am I crazy to like Atlanta plus 150?
No, you're not, because that number gets your attention, right? And they're a different lineup with Drake Baldwin leading off, which he is tonight. And, you know, he homers in his first game back. I think you're onto something pretty interesting there. It was supposed to be Chris Sale tonight, as we know, and they pushed him back, and it's Martin Perez tonight. And Martin Perez doesn't get a lot of run. He's not going to be a guy that you stop what you're doing to watch. But he's been pretty doggone good. He's won his last 3. You know, if he's spinning it right at plus 150, you could make probably a worse bet tonight.
Okay, Matty, in the American League, Cam Schultler's been the goods. You wondered how he was going to follow up that wild card performance against the Boston Red Sox. Well, right now, he's the American League favorite to go and win the Cy Young. He had that crummy start against Cleveland a few weeks back. He bounced back. I thought he was outstanding on Saturday against the Toronto Blue Jays. You got a total in that game at 8.5. Schlittler, strikeouts, interested? And at the end of the day, is he going to be the American League Cy Young?
I've still pumped the brakes on him for AL Cy Young. I think there's some value guys down the board just because I don't know what they're going to do with him in the middle of the summer. He's going to exceed his workload thresholds anytime now. And this is a guy that's just way too important in the postseason. And considering the injuries the Yankees have dealt with, they've got to keep this guy clean. Having said that, 6.5 tonight. Cincinnati, I looked at Cincinnati's strikeout numbers against the right-handed fastball group, four-seam sinker cutter. And the number's 23%. They strike out 23% of their plate appearances. It's not a ridiculous number, but it is the highest number of any team in baseball. That is strikeout rate against the fastball group with a right-handed pitcher on the mound. So, yeah, there's some value there. I think on the other side, there's some interesting stuff too. Rhett Lauder against left-handers, and he starts for the Reds tonight. He's never pitched at Yankee Stadium. That's a dicey thing. We know what Yankee Stadium can do. Even this version of Yankee Stadium, it ain't the old place, but even this one can get to guys. He has given up some real numbers on his slider this year to left-handers in particular. OPS over 1,000. So Bellinger's in play tonight. Spencer Jones in play tonight. The Martian is interesting tonight because Jason Dominguez is batting near the top of the order tonight. If you can find homer props on him, total base props on him, you'd probably get some nice plus money out of it because he's not a betting darling the way Judge and Bellinger and Goldschmidt have become. So that group of left-handed hitters, I think, is in play tonight for the Yankees.
Our friend Matt Vasgersian, MLB Network, Angels play-by-play on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow the money. Pauly and John Jastremski, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Chandler against Freeland in Coors. 11.5 the total.
I know, right? This is another one they can't make high enough.
Yep.
Bubba's had his trouble. So has Kyle Freeland. The Rockies have lost 9 of their last 13. Their starters ERA over that stretch is over 7. But moreover, the Pirates bullpen is really a mess. And we saw it in West Sacramento. Think about this trip the Pirates are on. They're playing 6 games on the face of the doggone moon. 3 in West Sacramento,
yes.
3 in Denver. Good luck. Good luck to a bullpen that was scuffling to begin with.
Yeah.
I think that's something to watch live, especially once Bubba comes out of the game and he's not a guy that gives you more than 5. The late stages of that game could be pretty interesting given the bullpen there. I also like Brian Reynolds tonight. If anybody's going to get hot, it's him. And he has been a little different this year because his numbers as a right-handed hitter are very good this year, more so than ever before. So he's going to have at least 2 plate appearances, you figure, batting right-handed against Freeland. I don't know what his numbers are, but most of those total base props are 1.5. I think Brian Reynolds is a guy to circle in that game. Okay.
I'm going to pull that up while you're talking. That's excellent. How about the A's who are playing great ball? Springs, though, ERA of 8 last 5. He goes against Soriano, who has bad numbers against the A's going back.
Yeah, that one's interesting, right? Because Soriano is he and Reed Detmers have been the Angels' best starters this year. Soriano's the guy that everybody's already calling about for a trade deadline pickup. But in 2 starts last year in that little ballpark in West Sacramento, 8 earned runs in 11 2/3 with 3 homers. There are guys that don't like pitching there. I'm not saying he's one of them because it was only 2 starts, but neither one of them was very good. And if we have like a Luis Severino thing going on where Jose Soriano doesn't work well in that ballpark, the A's have been scoring runs aplenty at home. And granted, it was Pittsburgh's bullpen that was in part to thank for that. But I don't know what the number is. Soriano numbers are usually pretty reasonable because he's good. So you don't see opponents with run line totals of 5.5, 6. But if you want to kind of buck the trend here and bet against the Angels' best pitcher. Who knows what Sacramento does in this equation with Soriano.
Okay. He's to give up. Yeah, they got the earn run props up there as well at DraftKings. 3 or fewer minus 160, 2 or fewer plus 130. They respect you. Reynolds total bases 2 minus 170 at DraftKings. 3 is plus money. Well, yeah.
A hard 2 at minus 170. Let's see, again, those are just Denver numbers. That's just inflation.
Yeah.
It's Denver inflation.
100%.
Yeah. Another prop you like? 90 seconds.
I like Jacob deGrom. I guess that's probably where I would go, just because San Diego has had a hard time offensively. They're in the third stop of a 3-city road trip that's been hot and brutal. They've held up okay. They're 3-3. St. Louis, Baltimore, and now Texas, or Baltimore, St. Louis, now Texas. But deGrom's been great. Last 4 starts, 33% whiff rate. I don't know what his strikeout number is. You could look at a deGrom strikeout. You could look at the Rangers keeping San Diego quiet first 5 while deGrom's still in the game. There are a lot of ways to look at that, but I do like deGrom tonight.
You are the best. Thanks, my man. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you.
Have a good weekend, boys. Good talking to you.
Yep. deGrom, 7 Ks, $1.15. 8 Ks, almost 2-1. 9 Ks, plus 350. Goal in the first 10 minutes. Morocco was plus 450. And that was, how about a minute in? How about that? They're now minus 450 in play. More on the soccer, U.S. Open update. What's going to happen? Yes, no, missed the cut, the leaderboard, and what transpires in the NBA over the weekend. We'll go rapid fire with JJ next. So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, 1-0 Morocco. 15th minute, over 2.5, minus 190. Morocco minus a goal and a half, minus 115. They're minus 450 to win the match. USA won earlier today, 2-0. We advance, and we will win the group if Paraguay draws or they get a win tonight against Turkey. And here at Circa, first goal of the match, own goal, was 85-1, and somebody had it for $1,000. Incredible. I retweeted that earlier today. The golf, Wyndham Clark, 7 under, set the 36-hole record at Shinnecock. He is plus 165 at DraftKings to win. It reminds me of Keimer in 2014, if it could be a wire job here, and Clark can pull it off, although JJ's on the opposite end of that. He'll get his breakdown coming up. Schauffele is 7-1. Rory is 10-1. And JJ, he can't get anything going. Schauffele 3 under. Fitzpatrick 3 under. Stevens 3 under. Morikawa, Burns, McIlroy 2 under. Rory 2 under. He is on 15 right now. 1 under through the day. For the day.
You know, Paulie, I think this is a huge final stretch here for Rory McIlroy, because with the hot start that Wyndham Clark has gotten off to, you really want to be within 4-3 of the lead going into Saturday. Hope Wyndham Clark can come back to the pack a little bit, or you go and put up one of those monster days. Hey, Rory McIlroy is more than capable of going and shooting a 66 or a 65 tomorrow. We've seen him do it a ton of times here, and it's how he can play himself back into contention. For the time being, though, listen, pre-tournament, I was in on Schauffele to win it. Very good price. I was in on Fitzpatrick to win it. And the way I usually play these golf guys, Paulie, is I play a couple of matchups, and then the guys that I like to play them top 20, top 10, top 5, and then you throw in a couple of sprinkles to win the tournament outright. Those are lottery tickets. We know those are really, really hard to hit throughout a golf season. But I like where Schauffele is at. I like where Fitzpatrick is at. Shoffley had a big day today. I mean, he outperformed Wyndham Clark from the round of 18. The problem is you're throwing in Wyndham Clark, who finished round 1 with a flurry and continued that into round 2, and that's why he's 7 under par for this tournament. I think Xander Schauffele's the guy. Like, if you're asking me right now, if somebody is going to go and catch Wyndham Clark, if it's Schauffele, if it's Fitzpatrick, if it's Rory, if it's Morikawa, I would go with Schauffele, who you're seeing right now on the DraftKings odds boards, 3rd on the list, a little under 10-1. Okay.
Morikawa, part of that group at 2 under as well, and JT is 1 under, along with Brian Harmon. Tommy Fleetwood, Bradley and Aaron Rai are even. Did you see DJ's? DJ made the cut, but it was interesting. He was in this at 1 under or even, and then he had a quadruple bogey where he's in the beach and he hit it and it comes right back to him. So he goes, well, I'm not going to do that again. And he hits it as hard as he can and it clears the green. So he put up an 8 and put up the snowman. But he did barely make the cut. But that was, he looked like he had a chance there, but then he ran out of contention once he put up the snowman on that hole.
You know, Paulie, he's a guy that has left a lot of meat on the bone for his career.
Oh, yeah.
Because a couple of years ago, it looked like he was going to be one of the best golfers in the world for a long, long time. I know he ended up winning the Masters during the COVID year, which was weird because, remember, that was when the Masters was being played in the fall. It wasn't being played in April, so it was a totally different set of circumstances. And John said, listen, he's won a couple of majors. He's got the beautiful wife. We know he can hit it a mile. We know he's made a ton of money. But for a guy I thought could be an all-time great, he has not been an all-time great. And a little update on Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
Rory was chipping on 15, his 3rd shot. He sailed it and now has to go and hit his par chip super long. He's probably going to double bogey here. So that's what I was talking about, Rory. That's what I mean. Like, this final stretch of 4 holes, you could not have any setbacks here. That bad 3rd chip is probably going to set him back by 2. So instead of Rory being at around 2 or 3 under par, now he's going to be at even because he's got a monster putt for bogey that he is not going to make. So he's going to be a double bogey, which is going to drop him to even. Mistakes you can't make when you're trying to go and chase a deficit.
Yep. As it stands, let me see. Yep. As it stands right now, Matsuyama, McIntyre, Goddard, Straka, Hovland, Horschel, DeChambeau, Cam Smith, Cantlay, Pat Reed, Adam Scott, all going to miss the cut. So some big names there. And some guys.
And Reed, Paulie, I liked Reed this week.
Yeah.
You know, and the problem was, and I said this to you yesterday, he was one of those guys that became very, very trendy. Like any of these quote unquote golf experts that I would read and I would talk to, they were talking up Reed going into Shinnecock this week. And that's always your classic buyer beware. When a guy is a little too talked up and a little too trendy, not great. Not great.
Read all the guys tonight on vsin.com. Humans, Matt Brown, Bidlin, who to bet, Wes Reynolds, who to bet Saturday, and moving forward for the rest of the tournament. Check that out, as always, with the recaps and the previews at vsin.com. So Tom Habistro reporting he thinks the Giannis deal will get done this weekend. But there's some other stuff going on, too, about are the Wizards really going to give Trae Young a 3-year deal as he opts out of like the $48 million player option, if that they're going to do that as well. And also, how about the fall from grace with John Morant? That nobody wants the guy.
Would you want him leading your team?
No.
That's what I'm saying. John Morant, it's funny. You think about near misses for the Knicks. Zion and John Morant were talked about quite a bit.
Right.
Truth serum. Who would want either one of those guys leading their franchise right now? Zion never plays, and when he's on the court, he's completely out of shape. Mm-hmm. Morant, with all of his stuff off the court, and his game has not evolved and has not been, a
Can't
game
shoot.
that has ascended. Yeah, he can't shoot the basketball. Like early in his career, he's wowing you athletically. You thought he barely scratched the surface. He's leading Memphis with that tough team to a couple of 50-win seasons. But he has not gotten better as a player. He's a guy that's going to have to put some serious work in and is going to have to do some serious rehab on his image. But as far as the Giannis stuff here, Paulie, listen, I think the Celtics got to, and we had Bob Ryan on earlier in the show. It's a simple question. Are you moving on from the Brown-Tatum pairing that has won you a championship, that has won you a ton of games over the better part of the last 7 to 8 years? They've had a lot of success, that franchise. They won a championship. They've been to 2 NBA finals. Can make the argument they could have gone to a couple of more NBA finals, choked that series against Miami a few years ago.
Big time.
You go back, they lost to Game 7 early in their careers when they were playing LeBron, and literally LeBron when Kyrie was gone and the Cavaliers were a mess. It's a tough conversation because I hated the way Brown handled himself at the end of the year. He also had an all-NBA season. He also had an outstanding season. I think if I could get Giannis, though, I'm making the trade.
Okay.
That's how I look at it. If I can get Giannis and Jaylen Brown's got to go, I'm making that move if I'm Brad Stevens.
And I'm with Brad that they have to change the way they play as well. A big move in the last few hours. Giannis is now 57% at Pauly Market to go to Miami. Next team, Boston Celtics, 37%. And LeBron James' next team, Lakers, are up to 70% at Pauly Market with the props, with all these guys you can bet, and also with the draft numbers as well. But one thing you said yesterday that I like, and nobody's talking about them. Well, what do you do from a future standpoint? Should you jump in on this? Your Pacer ticket, come on. They went to Game 7 and almost won the final. Could have beat OKC if Halliburton doesn't get hurt. All the talk about the Knicks, what are the Celtics going to do? The Pistons, the 1 seed, the Cavs. They're going to get Halliburton back, and you have Zubac now. How about the Pacers at 40-1?
Oh, I love it, Paul. I bet it already. And I also want to remind everybody they got one of the best coaches in the NBA. Rick Carlisle is brilliant. I mean, he took a Dallas team to an NBA championship. Indiana, I think if Halliburton doesn't get hurt in Game 7, they would have had a legitimate chance to win that game outright against Oklahoma City. They do lose Miles Turner from the team 2 years ago. And that helped them as far as stretching the floor and hitting the outside shot. But I think defensively speaking, they're better with a guy like Zubac. Maybe make a move or two here in the offseason to go and complement the roster, assuming, and it is a big assumption to make, that Tyrese Halliburton is going to get all the way back athletically to where he was 2 years ago. If the answer to that question checks out, Indiana is scary. And I would look at them from a Knicks perspective as the team that would worry me the most, not Boston, not Detroit, and definitely not Philadelphia, who wake me up when that team stays healthy and wake me up when that team can actually do something of consequence.
Mm-hmm. Good call, JJ. McElroy now even through 15. So he's 7 shots back.
That's a costly double bogey, Paulie.
Boy.
Mistake you can't make.
Yeah.
I mean, you hit your third chip. You can't chip it off the green and end up in a sand trap.
Yep.
That's killer.
We already have a final, and we're getting ready. I like the Tigers a lot coming up. I'll tell you why, and we'll run down the MLB card coming up on Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. 1-0, Morocco, 30th minute. Scotland advances with a win. Haiti eliminated if they lose and Morocco win. If Turkey lose or they draw, USA wins the group. And Germany tomorrow in with a win. They win the group if Ecuador get beat or they draw. Really like the Tigers coming up in 10 minutes. The Cubs pummeled the Blue Jays earlier today, 16-2. PCA stays red hot. He goes 3 for 3. Gossman was batting practice, had nothing. They are $2. I put them with the Yankees in a parlay. Run line is even money, or you could lay the run with Skubal. His second start back. The Tigers starting to hit. Carpenter hitting .600 career against Fetty. Green .556 as well. Skubal last 6 against the White Sox. 6-0 with an ERA of 1.75, total of 8. So right off the bat on the card tonight, we got a $2 favorite And JJ, your Yankees are $3, $2.90 with Schlittler going against the Reds.
Super hefty. I don't hate the logic, Paulie, of a little Skubal Schlittler two-team money line parlay. As you know, I got Team USA with the Yankees later on tonight, which, by the way, was not exactly betting analysis 101. This was just, hey, it's Friday, it's happy hour. Team USA, a little patriotism here. Yankee baseball on a Friday night, a little Yankee baseball favoritism there. And we put them together and got them a little close to even money, right around there. I think it was around minus 115, give or take. But here's the question with Skubal. Can Skubal and the Tigers do enough to stay in the race? I don't think so. So the next few weeks, in many ways, are an audition for him to see where he's going to be pitching in August and September. I have to assume he ends up getting traded. I don't think Detroit is going to re-sign him. So does he end up in Philly with Sanchez and with Zach Wheeler? I'd love to see that. Does he end up, dare I say, in a place like Milwaukee where they say, hey, we have been knocking at the door the last few years. Yeah, we know we're not going to re-sign him, but let's get nuts and try to put together a starting five that has Miz and Skubal. And in a short series, you'd be cooking in a big way if that's the case. I think that'll be the most juicy subplot of this year's trade deadline, Paulie, where Tarek Skubal is going to be pitching.
Absolutely. Yes. And they start a 10-game homestand with the Montgomery on fire, by the way, 6 for 13 with some bombs going back the last 4. You were 23-6 in games started by Schlittler and Warren. They couldn't sweep the White Sox. The bats went silent last night. I think they break out of it tonight, though, against the Reds. What say you with your Yankees?
Yeah, I don't love the over for the game because you have such a good pitcher going for the Yankees and Schlittler. You just got to wonder how many runs Cincinnati's going to be able to go and put up. I think it's a great bounce back spot for the Yanks, though. I don't know if I'd be laying 2.5 bills, but do the Yankees go and find a way to win, which is all Pauly Howard needs in this particular game? The answer to that question is yes. But really, Pauly, to get out of my New York bubble for a second, I think the baseball game of the day that I can't wait to see is the Miz. And we've spent a lot of time on this throughout the course of the show as a hefty favorite, taking on a Brave team that's got a great record, one of the best records in all of baseball, but a Brave team that's been cooled off a little bit. They lost this series to the Mets. They have not played great baseball over the last 2 weeks. Yet, I think Milwaukee is overpriced. I think you're paying a Miz tax as far as I'm concerned. And as I've said throughout the course of the show, I think you're getting great value with Atlanta at home, plus 150. Not going to be many chances to go and get the Braves at that number at home. I'm going to take it. I'm on Atlanta today, plus 149.
Okay, Perez has been bad going back. Braves have lost 6 or 7, but you're right with the price. But also, we'll never see this again. For a guy whose last 8 starts is 7-0 with a 0.17 ERA, and could it be fade material coming off the complete game shutout, 1 hit, 15 strikeouts, and throwing 104 on the gun, and the average fastball is hit 100 miles an hour. But to go, it's just ridiculous. It's a video game, the numbers he's putting up. And now on the season, 8-2 with a 1.34 ERA.
But lights out, and that's why he's the favorite at the moment to go win the National League Cy Young. A game you mentioned, I haven't touched on it yet, and I think I'm going to tell you on this. I like Tampa Bay as well against the Washington Nationals.
Yes.
And that game has been shot up to minus 150. You know, they say styles make fights. Tampa Bay has a knack, Pauly, for making you play their style of baseball, especially when they play at Tropicana Field. I've noticed that a lot when they've played the Yankees and the Red Sox over the years. They're irritating on the bases. Mm-hmm. They're going to use a zillion different pitchers, but they go and play lower scoring games. When they need to go get clutch hits, they get clutch hits. And the Nationals, we know their MO. They score a ton of runs. They can't get anybody out. I think that's problematic against the Rays. So yep. I'm with you there. I'd lay the 150, small price, quality price.
I'm with you.
Rays, that'll be a play I'll make. And I see that over at Circus Sportsbook at minus 150. I'm telling you on that. I like Tampa as well.
24-9, best home mark in baseball, 10-game homestand tonight with the Jacks going and the Rays. The Giants have lost the last 8 starts by Roop. They take on the Marlins, total of 8. Marlins 115. Also, Matt Vasgersian earlier in the show loves the total. He loves it over at Colorado and Pittsburgh. Also, Reynolds total bases, likes DeGrom, strikeouts over as well. And McGreevy going for the Cardinals, 12-2 under when he pitches. That streak going on with St. Louis, what McGreevy's done. And I think there's runs again as well, and Matty V touched on it. The Angels and the A's, total of 10. Springs against Soriano. Springs has had all kinds of issues, an ERA of 8 in his last 5. Soriano has bad numbers against the A's going back. A vicious all-time beat. Bad beat last night if he had the A's team total over. It was 5.5, 5-0 in the first, and that was the final score. But another great story, the White Sox, the Nats, and the A's hanging around first place, $1.55 against the Angels, and plus money on the run line.
Can I give you one late night?
Go ahead.
We have not discussed this game. Baltimore and the Dodgers.
Yes.
I think you're going to have a ton of runs in that game. Totals at 9.5. Sasaki, who was so lights out for the Dodgers in the postseason, has not been great as a starter. He's basically pitching to a 5 ERA. Gibson is pitching to a 6 ERA. So totals at 9.5, under weirdly juiced. I would not lay it with the Dodgers. I can't lay 200 with Sasaki. Can't do it. Orioles, they're a weird team, man. They're much like the Blue Jays. I was talking about the Blue Jays. Like, you keep waiting for them, and I bet Baltimore at the beginning of the year as an over. I bet them at the beginning of the year to make the playoffs. I do not feel good about either one of those bets. But they've had glimpses where it's like, all right, they're about to get on a run. They're about to get going. They can't get anybody out. Incredibly problematic. I would add that over 9.5 runs between the Orioles and the Dodgers. And Paulie, we talked about this Red Sox Mariner game.
Yeah.
That is your rat line of the day. That is the fishiest of all the fishy. Make it make sense that Seattle is even money with the way they're playing against this crummy Red Sox team.
Yep. 8 of 10 at home. A great run at home. Total of 6.5, and they're $1.10 against the Red Sox. I'm with you on that one as well. And Bybee goes for Cleveland. He gets 0 run support. It's incredible. Sometimes it's just a guy like that in the rotation that the team doesn't hit for him. And the Astros are $1.25. The run Alvarez has been on 24-game on base streak, 371 with 9 bombs and 24 RBIs, total of 8.5. And the Astros $1.25. Just a hard luck with what's happened with Bybee in this one. And DeGrom also $1.60 against the Padres. What a disappointment this team's been. I mean, it can't hit at all. And Machado and Tatis, very disappointing. Vasquez goes for the Friars, total of 7. And we'll see if DeGrom can keep it going. But I know my guys in Dallas always pointed out with the Yerfie with DeGrom that he's so good, but at times he'll give up that run in the first inning. And Matty V likes his K-prop over, and he thinks he could have at least 8 punch-outs tonight for the Rangers in that one coming up. So a good card tonight in Major League Baseball. We're ready to go with the first pitch with the Tigers and the White Sox, but also the theme of the night, a lot of studs going on the mound. Skubal, Schlittler, the Miz, DeGrom, ton of aces going, and a good card in MLB, capped off by that Mariners and Red Sox game, closing the night with a total of 6.5. 40th minute from Foxborough, 1-0 Morocco. They scored a minute in, and still total of 2.5 in the match, minus 1.5. Morocco minus 115 in this one. Very popular. We like them, and every guest has given them out as well. See if Morocco can get the win as we're approaching halftime coming up. Great job by USA earlier today, 2-0. They beat Australia. We are through. And again, we're waiting for the result of Turkey and Paraguay to see if we win the group. The number's already up Thursday from Inglewood. USA plus 155 to beat Turkey Thursday night. That'll be a lot of fun as well. And the book was rocking and the bars were packed here at Circa. What we're betting, win-lose, coming up with a recap. It was so easy last night. What's going to change tomorrow afternoon? We'll tell you what that is coming up on VSiN. Follow the Money, the Sports Betting Network.
He knows the quarterback was on coke. If his girlfriend was knocked These games are a burial, a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your unborn children on these games.
I was so good that whenever I bet, I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country.
All right, you know it, Ace. 2 easy winners last night. Atlanta Dream, Indiana Fever over 173.5. How about 109-101? How about that final score? Easy winner, and likewise Mexico and South Korea under 2.5. 0-0 detector should have been out. A gaffe by South Korea for the only goal in the match as Mexico wins the group as they win 1-0. Said it many times, we love Morocco. They're up 1-0 approaching halftime in Foxborough against Scotland. We're in big trouble here. Own goals for the tournament under 10.5. I think we're at 8 now. And USA has had the own goal to start both matches. And boy, oh boy, for the better to take 85-1 here at Circa for first goal scorer, own goal. Incredible. And that cashes in the USA match. Iraq, fewest goals in the tournament, 8-1. Total games to go to penalty shootouts over 4.5 with the pending. Yankees, Tigers, parlay. Scooble has owned Chicago going back last 6-0 with a 175, and they're hitting as well, and a ton of guys have good numbers against Fetty and Schlittler, a good-sized favorite. The Yankees can get the bats going tonight against the Reds. I'm going to take Turkey tonight against Paraguay, plus 105. I know Malcolm, our guest earlier, Bamford also likes Turkey. Netherlands, Sweden over 2.5 tomorrow to start the day in a good match. That is FIFA rankings number 34 against number 8. Netherlands played a 2-2. Sweden played a 5-1 so far. What's going to change tomorrow? Atlanta plays Indiana again. The total's 175. It just was 109-101. The Fever can't guard you, JJ. The next time they play defense will be the first time. And Atlanta can score. And right back with Angel Reese to score at least 15 points. 21-11 last night. 15-17. 25-9. 17-17. 18-17. That's her game log. And check out the field goal attempts. 14 shots. 19 shots. 22 shots. 12 shots. Starting to feel herself and a lot of confidence now and shooting the ball more. And Schauffele to finish top 5, minus 120. I'm with you. I think he makes a move, and he's been so good in the U.S. Open with the top 10s and the top 5s. He is 4 shots back and in second place. Can he make a push, and can Clark fall back as he's making it the Wyndham Clark Invitational so far? That's what I have. Good luck, everyone. Go get him, JJ.
All right, so if you look at our performance from yesterday, there was not much to choose from. I did not dabble in any of the soccer. I probably should have. I gave you a winner plus money with the Mets, who took care of business against the Phils.
Good win.
Our read on the over-under in the Yankee-White Sox game was atrocious because Ryan Weathers actually threw the ball pretty well. And even though Chicago ended up winning that game by the score of 5-1, you never really had a chance if you took the over at 9.5. Now, here's our card for a beautiful, beautiful Friday. You know what I'm feeling? Who let the dogs out? Who?
Proud.
Lot of dogs. Lot of dogs today, Pauly Howard. You know where I'm going first, even though this isn't a true dog. It's really an even money play. The Boston Red Sox in the rat line of the day. And you can make the argument this is the rat line of the year in Major League Baseball. A Seattle team, a couple of games over 500, playing really well over the last few weeks. Red Sox, 14 games under 500. JJ, why in the world are you lining up to take the Red Sox in this spot? Well, they've been better on the road than at home, and I'm getting Ranger Suarez on the mound, who has still pitched very effectively this season. I think he will go and get the better of the Mariner bats. I will take the stinky line. Public all over the Mariners. Line hasn't budged. I think the book's trying to tell us something here, Pauly. Let's take Boston, play number 1. Now, this one we've spent a lot of time on, so I'm not going to give you too much analysis on this. Bettors, there aren't going to be many opportunities to go and get the Atlanta Braves at home, basically at plus 150. I know the Miz is going for Milwaukee. I know he's the front runner to win the Cy Young. Hey, the Miz couldn't go and pitch great in this game. He could go 6 innings, 2 runs, strike out 10. Atlanta goes and wins a low-scoring game. Or who knows? Maybe Atlanta actually goes and scores a couple of runs off this absolute beast of a pitcher. I just can't pass up the value here in getting Atlanta, who, yes, is not playing great baseball at the moment, but too good a team, plus 150 at home. I like it. Give me the Braves. And then last but not least, I know we mentioned Jacob deGrom, and Matty V was all over Jacob deGrom. A lot of times, Jacob deGrom teams don't score for him. You go back to his time with the Mets, he had a lot of these games. We even saw last year with Texas, he pitched really, really well. He had an unreal ERA, and he couldn't win games because his team couldn't hit for him. I think San Diego plays these sort of games, these low-scoring games. That's why I like the Padres in these spots. I don't like taking the Padres when they're favorites in these games because putrid offensive baseball has been the standard for them all year. But that's my third underdog of the day. The Padres at plus 135 over the Texas Rangers. Then I'll give you as a bonus play. We didn't put this up. I didn't give this to Luke because I just added it. Total base parlay. Yordan Alvarez combined with Cody Bellinger. I'm going to play that. Bellinger's been the best home hitter maybe in all of baseball. Nobody hotter than Yordan Alvarez at the moment. I'm going to add that. And then the Dutch. We're going to take care of the Dutch at minus 135 to send Sweden with a big fat L on Saturday afternoon in some World Cup action. So, Pauly, in-pocket plays, day 2. Let's get over the 500 mark and a whole lot of plus money there on the card.
All right, like it. That's strong. And we're at halftime. 1-0 Morocco, minus 450 to win. Under 2.5, minus 160 against Scotland. Our NFL guide drops Monday, packed with everything you need to attack futures, win totals, division races, in the upcoming season. Lock in the early bird pricing on the football special for just $175. Sooner you sign up, more value you get. Full access to everything we do across every sport through the Super Bowl. Every best bet, every host, every guest. All the guys with the great write-ups with the soccer and the betting splits, DK and Circa, AI-powered prop projections. Head there now, vsin.com/subscribe. Jump in, vsin.com/subscribe. Couple minutes left, JJ. Great job pointing out how the sports books in New York got killed and lost $50 million in the month with all the Knicks future tickets, and the Knicks closed 15-1 in the playoffs. Did you talk to any fans or friends who had tickets to Game 6 and how they either were going to sell or how they hedged and bet the Knicks in Game 5 because those tickets were going for astronomical amounts?
So the only person in my life, Paulie, actually there were 2 people that had tickets to a potential Game 6. One of them, it would be a work obligation he wouldn't be able to sell because he's hosting clients. So I'm not going to name his name. I don't want to get him in any trouble. He couldn't be in a position where he's selling his ticket. My guy, Benji Kleiner, who is a top 5 Knicks fan in the tri-state area. Like, this guy is a Knicks super nut. He goes to like 65, 70 games a year. Paulie, you could have offered him $100G a ticket. He wasn't selling.
Wow.
He's that crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those, if the Knicks are playing for a championship and he's had these seats and he's going to 70 games a year or whatever it might be, 70 is probably a stretch because, you know, it's 40 regular season games, then probably another 10 or 15 in the postseason. 50-something games, Paulie ain't selling. No shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you had Game 6 seats and they were, let's say, front row, but I'm gonna offer you $500,000, what are you gonna do?
As much as I love my Knicks, I'll take the $500,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take the money.
$250, yeah.
Now, if you're gonna offer me $10G, no. We gotta do better than that. $500K, that's a year of college tuition. Maybe a couple of years of college tuition for my daughter. I'll take it.
That's what those tickets went for Game 3. $500 apiece for those 2 as well. So you're still sticking with it. $1 million. You're gonna go free throw over the PK. Soccer
oh my
PK.
Goodness, yes. I am steadfast and extremely confident about this. Paulie, I think you are underestimating how crummy my foot skills may be.
Oh, man. I got to ask humans that. Because I'm with humans. I think it'd be so easy to convert on a penalty because the goal's so damn big and the keeper's just guessing.
But if it's you and if it's you kicking, I don't know if they're guessing. Professionals, they're guessing. Not you, not me. We stink.
I don't know. You give me 5 minutes to warm up, I still might brick a free throw. I mean, I like what you said.
Might,
you're not Mitchell Robinson.
I think I like your chances better. I'll be better than Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, you're the man. Excellent job. Was a lot of fun. Happy Father's Day, my man. You have a good weekend. Appreciate you.
I appreciate it, Paulie. This was awesome. Follow the money, baby. Follow the money.